here. From yesterday, the continued bid right on the overnight, we're still holding out the upside pretty well here. Markets are just sustaining buy. It seems like I've been watching it for a bit here, not too long this pre-market session, but over the last 30 minutes, it seems that every seller that comes in is just getting absorbed, and we're ripping the bid. You can see here from the delta perspective, you've got just continuous support from the buy side that's coming in. And even though that's the case, I do think it's going to be pretty hard for the seller to come in today. There's going to be some aspects to watch out for that will break down, where the seller might have some kind of inertia, if you will. But overall, I think that this type of buy-side momentum, right, is pretty strong. And even if we do get larger dips, I think that buyers are just waiting at lower prices right now. We filled a lot of the upside, a lot of the areas left behind from the past few weeks. So I think that we're in a position, especially off the open, to start some kind of more generous pullback, if you will, to see some of this downside kind of open up and start pushing a little lower, getting us into better prices for the buy side to try to come in. So the main topic of conversation here, one of the biggest piece of information, is that the $500 billion going into AI, realistically, that's what's making headlines right now. That's what's really front and center. You can see Nvidia's gapped up by $5. Amazon had a solid day yesterday. It's gapping up. Google's trying to move up. Meta's trying to gap up. You got Microsoft gapping up. So America First is coming to the world of artificial intelligence in one of the first actions in the Oval Office. President Trump revoked the safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of AI executive order that had been placed by the Biden administration, and it's part of a broader view that the overregulation will stymie innovation and the development of future technologies, which are set to power the U.S. economy and give a competitive advantage on the world stage. Trump unveiled an artificial intelligence focused initiative called aims to support the reindustrialization of the U.S., including 100,000 jobs, as well as providing strategic capabilities to protect the national security of America and its allies. So we want to keep it in this country. That's what Trump announced, adding he would help with other emergency declarations to get more AI infrastructure off the ground that include boosting electricity production to fuel the growth of AI, or dedicated generation plans for some of the new projects. The first colossal data centers are already under construction in Texas, which will be helping medical patients via comparative health records and diagnostics. It isn't a foregone conclusion that the U.S. will keep its lead. This is what came out of the CIO from Google on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos. We're probably a year plus ahead in models. The West is ahead in chips. I think China is on par and may even be a bit ahead on what's called diffusion of basic capabilities. So like I said, you have pumps in Nvidia, you've got pumps in Amazon, Meta, Microsoft here, a bit on Google, while Apple is still gapping lower. It seems like Apple cannot catch a break, just the continuation of offer. Apple is in the slumps, and honestly, seeing a 210 Apple wouldn't necessarily surprise me. I think that this market is a bit overdone to the upside currently as things stand. I'm not saying, we're going to get this massive flush, prepare for the downside, but it is a possibility. I'm just looking at it from the perspective that we've rallied here on the overnight continuously. Netflix earnings came out yesterday. They did pretty well. Netflix actually trading at, where is it? I think it's trading over $1,000 a share right now. So look at this monstrous gap. Oh, okay, so it's 998. My bad. Anyways, it traded over $1,000 a share on this earnings gap, massive upside here. This is what helped propel this 15% gap to the upside, is helping propel this overnight action in tech. So that's one of the reasons why, okay, just look for the upside. Don't be trying to sell into this, especially with these Netflix earnings kind of setting the stage as for what might be expected from big tech earnings as they start trickling in over the next few weeks. So big tech is finally catching a bid after this most recent downside. This market is in the skies, And all of this positive delta SPOOs, NASDAQ, right, we're starting to see a bit of a struggle for the sell side, but I do believe that we are going to see some kind of sell drop off to begin things, to start the day off. And then we're going to see if the buy side can come in, because realistically around 6105 area here, this top of this auction on the S&P 500, as a buyer, right, as a auction respecter, I would rather these guys hold a bid at that area to see us continue on, right? It's a double distribution midpoint as well. You've got heaviness of volume that starts off into that area, so it would be pretty healthy, in my opinion, to hold the bid from that area. But we do have a pretty significant downside move. The issue with that is, like, if we start breaking under 6100 today on the SPOOs, we could see a deeper pullback to get better buy side interested at much lower prices, which include the 6085 as well as that 6070 that we saw yesterday. Both these things traded yesterday and were multiple points higher right now. The lows of yesterday were at 40. So we're trading about 70, 80 points to the upside from those areas. I think that most immediately we're in a position right now around this 1820 on the SPOOs with the heaviness of volume to see that pullback before we try to enter into a new auction to the upside. Very similar action going on NASDAQ right now. So with that being said, the initial move, I do expect some kind of downside for the buyer to try to step in and see what they can do at better prices lower, realistically. So that's one of the main things that I'll be watching here today as the open shapes up. We've got a decent amount of volume, if I'm not mistaken, on the overnight session. 145,000 contracts so far traded on the SPOOs. We're back to regularity because down here, this number almost matches. It's not fully matching with the daily volume that I have listed above. But yesterday, there was a very big mismatch, so give and take. Anyways, check out community.tradeproacademy.com.